stopped by officers.
I am concerned about the reason for the stop. So that's what I'm concerned about. So because, we'll be able to drive wherever we want in London, because you're not just contained to the area where you live. So that is my concern. So like if you're just profiling people who are driving outside their area, I think that's a ridiculous reason to stop. If you're profiling people who are driving a certain type of car, that's an inappropriate reason to stop.
Butler said the car was driven by her friend when two police cars stopped it in East London. She's called for a system change in stop and search. Statistics show that black people are 4 times more likely to be stopped than white people, while Scotland Yard has admitted that a mistake was made.
Prior to stopping the vehicle, an officer incorrectly entered the registration into a police computer, which identified the car as registered.
About 30 seconds now. Thank you, Cheryl.
Once the mistake was realised, the officer sought to explain this to the occupants. They were then allowed on their way. No searches were carried out on any individuals.
That's last weekend saw hundreds of people gathering outside Tottenham Police Station in London to
stand by, Cheryl. Thank you.
And to mark the 9th anniversary since Mark Duggan's death. He was shot by a police officer in 2011, sparking major protests across England. Protesters were calling for officers to stop the over-policing of black communities, stop excessive use of force, tasers, and stop and search. Well, to discuss this, I'm now joined by the CEO of Black Child Agenda, Cheryl Phoenix. Cheryl, the police have apologised for getting this wrong. There's no suggestion she was targeted because of her colour.
Hi. Well, so what would we call it then? Because these sorts of things happen all the time, whether it be, this is an MP, Dawn Butler, who works in my constituency. I'm in Brent as well, who does a lot of tireless work. Her face is all over the media. What possible reason could there have been for her to be stopped at all, just going about her daily business?
Well, the police say it was a mistake.
Okay, so we make mistakes every day. So, like I just heard you mention, or just with regards to the report, was Mark Duggan a mistake? There's so many times, and this is the sort, she would just got a flavour of what a lot of people of the African Caribbean community have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, it's one thing to say it's a mistake on the once, but if you're someone who is of African Caribbean descent and you're stopped on a daily basis 5, 6, 7 times a week, what are we going to do to actually change this narrative? And we already know that there is a disproportionate number of black people who are being stopped and searched by police, or just stopped or searched by police, and a lot of the time, yes, they are let go. So if that's not profiling, then I don't know what is.
Well, the Metropolitan Police has made sweeping changes since the McPherson report into the death of Stephen Lawrence. And of course, that was when the force was branded as institutionally racist. So are we not seeing changes and improvements?
Well, if we are, please could someone send them to me so I can see what they are. It's like the police are institutionally racist. We know this. We just saw a video yesterday of a young woman who was somewhere in Hemel Hempstead, I believe, being manhandled by police. Another video about 3 weeks ago of yet another family being manhandled by police, dragged out of their car. So if you're telling me since the death of Stephen Lawrence till this day in 2010, we as the black community are still having to put up with this, and the most that we get is a sorry, and we should be satisfied with that, then that's simply not good enough. So yes, more does need to be done. Just like anybody else, we pay our taxes into the system since we've been here. Look at how they've treated us in Windrush. So we've paid our taxes, we pay our taxes. So I think just the slightest little bit of due course and care and attention that everybody else is afforded to is all we're asking for.
You say more needs to be done. So how can you boost the trust and confidence in policing in the BAME community now?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not part of a BAME community. I'm part of the Black African and Caribbean community. This title that has been swept around called BAME, we have said that we don't want to be classified as this BAME word. We don't like it and we find it disrespectful. Secondly, I think that this again needs to go back to the top, because if you have a system that is institutionally racist and a report was written then, what I will say is we don't need another report, because we keep getting reports that mount to nothing. They are useless. There is no actual strategies that are put in place or followed through by anyone. They put a token black person there, and then after that, it's swept under the carpet and we continue like normal. So things that need to be slightly more dismantled. Those that work within law enforcement need to speak more closely with those on the ground in communities and those within the African Caribbean community. There's no point having just a bunch of people if you need to actually speak to those who are affected by this and actually come to change like that. Do I know all the answers? No, but that's a start.
Cheryl, very good to talk to you on this. Thank you for your time. Cheryl Phoenix.
Thank you.
Rough sleeping has increased in London during...
Thank you, Cheryl.